Damodar Pratap Singh, you're joining us on NewsX. Our big focus, there has been an overhaul in the way CBSE conducts its board exams. CBSE has come up with a completely new formula for 2022 examinations. The 10th and 12th exams will be held in two parts with equal weightage given. The first part will be objective, which will be conducted during November, December, and the second part being completely subjective, which will be held in March, April. This obviously scraps the one exam theory. How the schools and students would react to it and whether the new format would become a constant in the post-corona world is something we'll be discussing on this broadcast. Joining us live is Dr. Amrita Das, Director ICS. Chandrabhushan Sharma, former Chairman NOIS, is also live with us. Neeraj Kumar Bhedotia, Principal, Delhi College, Indore, is also joining us live. Naman Jain, Education Policy Expert, is also live with us on the broadcast. Let me bring in fact, Dr. Amrita Das first onto the program. Dr. Amrita Das, in your opinion, is this something that, was the need of the hour, a change, a reform in examination patterns? Do you believe that this is a good practice that has been adopted by the CBSE?
This is definitely the need of the hour, and the CBSE has led the way by being future ready. Because it's a VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. So they have many plans in place, plan A, plan B, and plan C. And that's how we have to be prepared. Now, plan A is absolutely outstanding. It is in consonance with NEP 2020. Because the exams now are not going to be high-pressured, high-stakes exam. What is more, the teaching learning process will be very different. The teaching learning process will focus on understanding concepts, applying them in meaningful ways, connecting the dots. It will be interdisciplinary. That will lead to the development of cognitive skills and make the students prepared for the world of work as well. What is more, the huge stress and tension the students face will no longer be there, because the syllabus is divided into two. MCQs as well as essay type is a very good idea. The first part of the exam in November, December will be MCQs, but these multiple choice questions will also have case studies. They will be application based, so the depth of knowledge will be deep. It will not just be factual, recall of facts, but real assessment of a person's true knowledge and understanding of the subject, its application in meaningful ways. It'll be much more creative. It'll leave room for higher order thinking skills. However, having said that, because this is a completely different system, teachers will have to be trained. Students will have to get used to a new approach to learning. It's not going to be difficult, but I think the training process should be put into motion immediately so that there's a shifting of tracks from the current approach to teaching and learning to the new approach. And I think it's a fantastic idea to also look at, if it doesn't work out in November, then if they have to do the exam later on, there are different systems in place, keeping in mind the unexpected contingencies. Now, there's another important point. CBSE has mentioned online and offline exam. If it is to be online, we have to ensure connectivity. We have to ensure a level playing field. So very quickly for online exams, the necessary steps will have to be taken, because already there's a digital divide between students who have smartphones and connectivity and those who don't.
Okay.
So this will be another challenge.
Neeraj Kumar Bhedotia, let me get you in here. We've of course been talking about the decision that the CBSE had to take for this year, but now they've decided to be proactive. They've decided to act now instead of waiting once again for a third or possibly fourth wave. Do you believe this is a good step, that at least they're acting early and not late? And B, do you actually believe that it is perhaps wise to divide the grading from just one big exam at the end of class 12 to two, and both have both objective type questions and subjective type questions be part of it?
Thank you very much for inviting me. But once again, as I said last year, and you would remember that we had, suddenly when policy comes in, everybody is taken by surprise. We have to make, as they used to say, burn midnight oil to, finish. And we finished last night, actually, midnight. Give all the marks because to make the exam. So I have said that CBSE has to now decide for the future, and I'm very happy. It is late. It's not. You can't say it's not late. We already started in April, and the pandemic was happening. But I'm very happy. The delay is understandable. We are all responding to pandemic. So I like to congratulate CBSE for coming out with this scheme, which puts at rest all confusions, and they have wonderfully organized this. And taking account of every possible situation which might happen at the end of the year for these children. So children also know if this will happen, that is how it will happen. So the teachers know, children know, parents know, system knows. So I think it is a very welcome step. Absolutely, there is no doubt about that. Secondly, a pandemic, it is, of course, has caused havoc around the world. We all know that, mental, physical. We've lost friends, we've lost families. But at the same time, if you look at it, it has also provided opportunities. And what we were not able to do for years put together. Suddenly last year, teachers went online. The people who could not handle all the functions of a smartphone were able to teach children on Zoom within a month or so, mind you. That speaks volume about the capacity of learning of our teachers, not only in India, but worldwide. And similarly, now we got this new education policy last year, which has many, ideas, great ideas, which have been spoken number of times, in various policies. And that is now CBSE has actually used this pandemic to propagate the ideas of new education policy. So having two exams reduces the pressure on the children, which is fantastic, because this exam culture has to go if you want our children to learn. This is old colonial mindset that you have to do 3 hours exam, and those guys have changed in US and UK and all over Europe and other developed countries. We are still stuck with 3 hours. So I'm delighted, in fact, to see that there is going to be a 90-minute MCQ, and that MCQ will check and test their core competencies. So, and then you have an exam which is like a normal exam, but for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's a great news for education.
So you're saying not just the fact that it's been split up, but the fact that it's also become more objective, the fact that the time duration is also decreased are also good steps in this reform. Let me, before I get in, our other educators or educationists, beg your pardon, let me also get in a student's perspective. We have Madhvendra Singh Purni, who is a class 12 student currently at Delhi College, Indore, also joining us on the broadcast. Madhvendra, this is going to affect your batch first. Your batch is going to be the first one that is going to be having this new system in place. Are you looking forward to it? How do you view it?
First of all, thank you, sir, for inviting me on this forum. Sir, I feel that during COVID, since COVID has created a turmoil throughout the country, I think this is one of the best alternatives the country has, since everything has been moved virtually. And I think that since CBSE has introduced MCQ exams now, I think that would that would increase the logical reasoning of the students, because right now what's happening is, when we used to have offline exams, the entire thing was theory based, and whatever it's written in the books, that is what was going to be asked. But in MCQ, you can't actually predict what the question bank or what the questions are going to be like. So I think in a way it is improving the logical reasoning of the students. And since rightly said by Principal Sir that the syllabus has been bifurcated into two parts, I think that has substantially decreased the burden on the students.
Okay. Do you also believe that this is a view that is shared by your other friends as well and other batchmates as well, or is this just your opinion? I'm sure you guys have been talking, since this decision was taken. What's the overall view?
Yes, sir. Sir, I think my friends as well share the same opinion. But one of the subjects include, English subject. That is one thing where I feel that we cannot have a MCQ paper because, sir, in an English subject, the whole idea is to test your vocabulary and your writing skills. So I don't think so. Using through an MCQ paper, you can test a child's vocabulary or writing skills.
Okay, let me get in CB Sharma. Professor CB Sharma also with us at this point. Professor CB Sharma, you were there on one of our last shows and you said, why act so late? Shouldn't these decisions have been taken earlier about cancellation of board examinations or postponing of boards or preponing of boards? Now a decision has been taken already for the next academic year. Is this a good step? Is this a holistic step? And were these reforms needed? You're on mute, sir. You're going to have to unmute yourself.
Thank you very much, Uday. Thanks for having me here once again. If I do a semiotic analysis of your statement, you also say better late than never. Finally, CBSE has woken up. I'll say that. I'm not very appreciative. Look, it's good plan of action that the CBSE has given for 21-22. Don't take it as a final decision for all times to come. The circular clearly says this is for 21-22. What were we doing all these years? If this was the requirement, what was the CBSE doing before 2020? Why did we not change the process of assessment and evaluation? As an academic, look, I'm a researcher. I keep researching. I keep looking at these things. CBSE should have woken up much earlier, changed the process of assessment and evaluation. We were assessing children on a scale and a process which is not acceptable globally. However, I must say, I'm very happy that the CBSE has issued this circular on July 5th this year, and we'll be working on it. And it has also given all the alternatives. That's very nice. That if this happens, we'll do this. If this happens, we'll do this. My concerns are different. What do we certify children for? I have been chairman of a board, and I have been under greater stress from various quarters. The letter, read the letter very carefully. And again, the semantics is important there. It goes on to mention again and again, stakeholders have been consulted, academics have been consulted, experts have been consulted. Then why have you truncated the curriculum? Who has done it? Who decides on curriculum? And what do we certify children for? I mean, I'm not going to accept children's opinion on how they should be assessed. They are nobody's, they must give their opinion, but then we should not go by what they say. This is one sector where only experts decide how to assess and how to certify. Look, you have said you will truncate the curriculum. Would you be writing on the certificate that the 21-22 certificate is issued on a truncated curriculum that we transacted? What happens to your learning outcomes that you have issued? Would you be telling on your certificate that the children have accomplished all the learning outcomes that India had decided in 2017, and we do a national assessment survey on the basis of this? I am very firm on my opinion as an educationist. We must take all effort, we must make all efforts to transact all that is important. Now we are saying in this letter that all that was not important has been taken out and we will be only transacting the important ones. Then what were you doing with the curriculum all these years? I have been part of the government. I'm asking my own government, my own processes. And it's important as an educationist that we must raise these questions on public platform so that we also get alerted in the government. I'm part of the government. I'm part of the university system. What I am worried about through this circular is that do not truncate your curriculum. Would your children of 2021, 22 be able to perform as well as your children of 1920 or 1819? That my honorable principal will certify that if we have a truncated curriculum, how would the children perform. And again, Manvendra had raised very important issue, which I have been raising on various platforms. There are various methods of assessment. Just saying on the basis of MCQ letter, this 5th July letter says that if we are not able to hold the second term exam, then we will be issuing the certificate on the basis of only first term. What would we say on that certificate? That this child or these group of children have not given the second term and been certified only on the basis of first term? Can the board do that? I have been chairman, again I'll repeat, and I was again and again put under that pressure. Please issue a certificate on the basis of it. Certificate says, I hold this child worthy of this certificate, and I certify that he holds all the competencies expected of a 12-year educated or past student. Would that certificate say? These are very important questions. I'm very happy. Again, I will end my statement by saying I'm very happy. CBSE has woken up. It has issued this circular right at the beginning with alternatives. It's a very good step, because last time also I questioned, I will reiterate this. 31st December, we had declared that we'll hold the exam in May. 16 April, Prime Minister cancels the 10th board. What did we do between 31st of December and 16th April? What preparation? 1st June, the Prime Minister cancels the 12th exam. Why did you keep all the children under stress for 5 months? As chairman of the board, I must answer that. I have no right to tell my student, 16 June I will hold your exam, and 15 June I come and say, no exam, thank you very much. That cannot happen with exams and this adolescent group. They are volatile, vulnerable group for which we must make preparations. I will definitely hold. We have not done very good preparation. We have not done very good planning as far as the school education is concerned. That happens. That happens because academics are not deciding. A regulatory body is not deciding. Government decides on school education. There is not a single regulatory body for a school education. But that's a different matter. Good luck to CBSE and good luck to students. But this is a good step.
Okay. Naman Jain, is this a good step in your opinion? Is this a holistic step? Was this something that was the need of the hour? And also, Naman, is this something now that shouldn't just be restricted to this academic year alone? It's a COVID year, obviously, so this is a step taken. Should this now be the new normal for academics in the country? To have not just one big board exam, but split it up perhaps into two, reduce the time and the format?
Udayji, thank you so much for inviting me to your esteemed show. I would like to take an opportunity and liberty to change that, tweak that saying by Plato, which says necessity is the mother of invention. In educators' scenario, I would like to say necessity is the mother of innovation. So all this which is happening at the time of the pandemic, it is only natural. When we are thrown at the deep end of the water, then only we are forced to really change. One thing I would like to say here is that the current generation of the kids who are growing up today are very, very lucky, because this is the generation of children who are going to be more resilient, who are going to be more prepared for adversities that are going to come in their lifetime. I would also like to say that this generation of kids who are going up, who are going to enter the workforce in 2030, 2025, who are going to operate in next decades, they have to operate on skills and competencies rather than content. Content is available freely on Google Baba. The point is, are these children equipped to learn? Do they have the skills to understand the process of research? Do they have the skills to collaborate? Do they have the skills to do critical thinking? Do they have the ability to take initiative? I think one important aspect of the circular which we are really not focusing upon, and I think in my opinion it's a very important aspect, is the importance of internal assessments. It is clearly stating in the circular that the internal assessments, practical and project work will lead to a much more developed system of education rather than the examination itself. I really appreciate the government's initiatives by introducing the NEP. It is a humongous task for a country like India to implement NEP throughout the country. But the intention is right. Modi ji, during his speech in Man Ki Baat, he continuously says that, the pressure has to go off from the children's heads. And the only way we are able to bring out a generation of creative and innovative children is by reducing the pressure from their heads. I would like to give you a small example of what we have been doing in Silverline Prestige School and how we implemented this back in the last year. In grade 10, there is this particular topic, the particular chapter in science on wastewater management. I think it is grade 9 or grade 10. And one of our teachers, she executed a project-based learning project on this topic, wherein she asked to compare the Delhi's wastewater management system to Manila's, which is the second best in the world. Not only she asked the children to devise the strategy on how to improve our system, she also encouraged these children to write a letter to the government and the authorities on how to improve. This is just not possible in a 3-hour examination. The only reason why these teachers and these students are able to execute this kind of learning is because stress is being put on internal examinations. And I think it is the right step. As Udayji, you were talking about this should stay or this should be the new normal. I definitely think it should be the new normal. This is how education should be executed in our country. One last point I would like to make here is rather than having a summative assessment, the focus should be on continuous formative assessments, wherein small little bites a child has to gain every single day when he is going through school. And I think this new policy is exactly in the right direction. The schools have to be geared up for that. Government's role is to define a broader policy. It is the schools, it is the onus on the schools on how we implement this policy for the benefit of the children. Ultimately, the learning that happens in the school is that transaction between an individual teacher and a child. So we have to focus on making our children prepared. And the only way we can do it is, I completely agree to Amrita ji, wherein we have to train our teachers on how to execute it. If we are able to do so successfully, the next generation of children are going to be, we are going to see many more Satya Nadellas and Steve Jobs from our country.
Okay, well, we certainly do hope for that. Yes, Dr. Amrita Das wants to come back in. Go ahead, ma'am.
So what I want to say is that it is not really a truncated approach, because experts are going to put together the first and the second part in a way that there is the essential connection which is made between the subjects and an interdisciplinary approach is taken. So it is going to be a group of educational experts, and I'm sure Professor Sharma, you will find a place there, Dr. Neeraj Bhadoria and Mr. Jain, because you will be able to help them. You have a lot of deep insight of the school system. So it's not truncated, it's going to be thought through very carefully. And I think students will be able to really develop their talents, their potential, their cognitive skills. It'll be well-rounded, and it is exactly what the NEP, with a lot of thought, had defined, had put forward. So it's like de rai durust hai. Better late than never. It's happening now, and let's give it the best possible support to make it happen. So I congratulate the CBSE for bringing this forward, being proactive, and thank you so much, Udayji, for bringing us together to debate this policy.
Neeraj Bhadotia, let me quickly bring you in here. Neeraj ji, you were of course giving us your your assessment of how it's a good step, as it reduces the burden on just one exam, but also ensures that it's not just that one, as the saying goes, that one 3-hour exam that decides the future of a student's life. It's now not 3 hours any longer. Either of the papers are not 3 hours any longer. So are these good steps? Is this a reform that was much needed? And is this now something that should be here to stay? It shouldn't just be for 1 year and then we go back to the old system. perhaps now these reforms are needed. There's a new education policy. This government has been serious about pushing through education reforms. There's talk of a cabinet reshuffle. I don't know who the next HRD minister will be. Maybe it will be the incumbent who will stay on. That's something we have to wait and watch in the next couple of days. But as far as the exam pattern is concerned, do you believe these reforms should now stay and perhaps more changes should also be made? You'll have to unmute yourself, sir.
Thank you. So Professor Sharma talked about this notice which has come out. This is specifically for pandemic year 21-22. But I do think that this is the start for some reforms which were pending. And Naman said about DPEND, I personally feel that the boards and people who are in policy making should be thinking about it at least 2 years in advance and then prepare the grounds. Remember, CCE failed. That's a wonderful thing. We are coming back to it. It failed because the teachers were not ready, and we have such a variety in this country of schools, of teachers, of geographical locations, and parity in terms of haves and have-nots. It's a difficult thing. So some of us who are sitting in our AC offices have wonderful classrooms and teachers who will adapt quickly. We will hire some trainers and do it. Well, it is going to be a long time. I'll just comment on a few of the things Professor Sharma said. One, there is one thing which is very clear, that curriculum is not reduced and we are supposed to transact that curriculum completely. Only what assessed is truncated. So all the syllabus has to be taught. And this is what I also did at my school, Delhi College, last year. I said, listen, there is one thing, you prepare children for 70% truncated thing for exam. And one thing is that you got to teach those things which you consider important, because there are physics lessons and the concepts are interlinked. You have to teach one concept before you can progress to another. Same way with English and other, there are interconnections. So it is also very important to understand that what Naman said, I really like that. I think the internal assessment has to be strengthened. It is the opportunity for us. The children have to learn. The assessment is of their learning. So important thing is that they learn, and they learn through various methods. They do not only learn when the exam happens. Unfortunate part in India is that we are exam-centric society. We did exam, we want our children to do exam. Calculators, the Cambridge does not have calculator, yet they have independent thinker, innovators and everything else that we need in 21st century. But we insist that we must have calculator in today's day and time. Computers do all the calculations. Yes, you got to teach them in the basics in the primary. But once they've understood why and how of it, there is no need for that to do. Now, MCQs have to be creative. So the teachers of English will have to come up and answer. Madhavendra, very good point he made about that. So a school education system, which works fantastic in up to 9th and then in 11th also, why it cannot be transparent? It cannot be transparent, I tell you, for a very simple reason, because we compete when the board results come out. And therefore we start to play dirty. But in 11th we don't. And therefore you will see the CBSE marks that we have submitted in 11 are subdued marks, though the marks are real. And in 12 children work out and they get good marks. But again, it is not a reflection on learning. So
yes,
this step that CBSE has taken, it's fantastic step.
Okay.
I tell you last point also about the project. Computers were taught in our class, school, in my school, and they were examined. I said, no examination in computer. It's like a pen and pencil.
Yeah.
So at the moment you remove the exam, learning has started to happen. So I think we have to experience that through various projects.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to have to leave it at that. We've run out completely of time. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.